Housing is the foundation for everything we do. I always think the local government is about public health, it's about people's life chances, it's about the quality of their lives. And if people don't have decent housing, all of that is in jeopardy. So particularly for youngsters, having a home that they can go to school from, that they can be secure in, they can study, sets them up for life chances. But actually at the other end of the scale, the people that we help, that our adult social care teams help, if they aren't in good, high-quality housing, then the chances of improving their lives and sustaining them just go by the board. So it matters to everybody and it matters to everything we do.
Hello, I'm Toby Fox from 1.5 Million New Homes, the Local Government Challenge, sponsored by Redloft and by Lovell. So every month I'm visiting a different council to find out what works and what needs to change to get more homes built. And this month I'm in the London Borough of Sutton. And today I'm with the Chief Executive of Sutton Council, Helen Bailey, to find out how important, how significant housing is in amongst all the other things that the council does.
Helen, tell me about how ambitious the Sutton Council is for housing and why.
So Sutton is very ambitious. We're ambitious for Sutton, we're ambitious for housing. And I think for several reasons. Firstly, because there is a huge amount of need in the borough. Mm-hmm. At the moment, I've got 1,150 families in temporary accommodation waiting for a permanent home and many more on our housing waiting list. But actually, more than that, housing and having affordable housing that people can live in is one of our key priorities for the council. Mm-hmm. Housing is the foundation for everything we do. I always think the local government is about public health, it's about people's life chances, it's about the quality of their lives. And if people don't have decent housing, all of that is in jeopardy. So particularly for youngsters, having a home that they can go to school from, that they can be secure in, they can study, sets them up for life chances. But actually at the other end of the scale, the people that we help, that our adult social care teams help, if they aren't in good, high-quality housing, then the chances of improving their lives and sustaining them just go by the board. So it matters to everybody and it matters to everything we do.
And in terms of how much it matters, can you tell me a little bit about the pressures that are growing on the council in terms of that 1,150 families that are waiting for accommodation, how that's changed over recent years, and the proportion of your budget that's being spent on supporting adults and children in need of social care?
So we have really seen over the last 2, 3, 4 years since the pandemic particularly, mm-hmm. a growth in demand for emergency housing for people who've lost their home, who need somewhere to stay urgently. We've always had a waiting list that was longer than the number of homes we're ever likely to have available for people in social housing. And I think we've also seen movement in the private rented sector, which is less available, and perhaps there are fewer people letting out homes in that area too. So all of those combine to be a pressure on us. Mm-hmm. And you said, what does that mean for the rest of our mm-hmm. budget? I think it's not just what we're spending on housing as such and what we're spending on temporary housing, but it also underlines all the other services that we provide. Yeah. Because actually it costs us more to provide social care to people who aren't in secure housing. Mm-hmm. The pressures on us from children in need are much more acute when those children are either in insecure housing or in temporary housing. So although that's not a budget line, mm-hmm. in everything we do and every element of our services, we are seeing the impact of insecure and insufficient housing.
And given all that context, what do you want from the government? What should the government be doing in order to enable you to build more homes and to relieve some of that pressure?
So, like everybody else, we were really pleased to hear the announcement of the 39 billion for housing in the last budget. But actually, what we want the support to do, and this is not just the government, it's also the mayor and people who control the rest of the infrastructure, to be really thoughtful about building the right homes in the right places. I mean, Sutton is a very particular place. It's a great place to live, to work, to bring your family up. We don't just want to put housing in every little corner of the borough. We want to build the right homes in the right places. So here in the centre of Sutton, we've got access to fantastic public transport. We've got good facilities. We've got a great high street. We've got great amenities. So that's where we're concentrating quite a lot of our building. And we need TfL to support us with additional transport. We need Thames Water and our other infrastructure providers to get on board and make sure that that infrastructure is really reliable.
Yeah.
We need our friends in the NHS to support with the facilities those new families are going to need. So it's that kind of encouragement that we need from the Mayor, as well as the money and the support to do the actual investment in the building.
And how much difference has it made hearing the government reiterating their demand, their requirements for more homes to be built? How has that helped you bring local people on that journey with you around densification, particularly in the town centre?
I think it has. I think the priority around the housing crisis and the fact that that is understood is really, really helpful. And hearing the government reiterate that, hearing the Mayor reiterate that is helpful. I think we've been saying it in Sutton for a long time. But you're right, the more sophisticated conversation with our community, and I think this is what councils do best, is about where we're trying to put that housing, what that looks and feels like. So the slight downside to that narrative is the one about planning. I think planning is really important. And for the government to sound like, as it sometimes does, that it's denigrating local plans, local planning and the involvement of local people in planning, I think is a problem, because that's the security that we all have, that those homes will be in sustainable places and that we will be building communities that, like the rest of Sutton, feel like home or somewhere that people are happy to live.
And one more question about housing, and I'm going to move it on slightly, but in speaking to Councillor Short and others, we've been told that a lot of the houses that the council is bringing forward are to passive house standard. And it's been explained to us about the additional cost of passive house and how that pays off over time.
Yeah.
But I'd like to hear it from you, given the pressures on the council's finances, how do you justify spending more on improved design, on a passive house standard, rather than just building as many homes as you can, as quickly as you can?
So it's that long-term, short-term, isn't it? Sometimes we have to be pragmatic and do the thing that we can afford to do in the moment. But where we can build to passive house, we're investing for ourselves and for our tenants and residents. Because if we achieve that standard, we will have homes that need less maintenance, that need less upkeep, that are easier to heat, that mean that our tenants are more likely not only to have lower bills, but to feel able to look after their homes and to maintain them well, so that those homes will be there for a longer period of time, serve more generations, be more lasting, be more sustainable themselves.
Yeah.
So it is an investment. Sometimes it's a difficult one, and sometimes we can get the grant and really make it work, and sometimes it's a more tricky decision. But where we can do it, we really like to be able to do that.
Great stuff. Now, it's not just about homes. There's no point in building lots of homes and not boosting the rest of the economy as well. You want jobs for the people that are moving into Sutton. So, what are the connections between your house building programme and the work that's going on in the south of the borough around the cancer hub?
So I'm glad you mentioned the London Cancer
I thought
Hub.
you might be.
Yes, no, it is probably the thing we are most proud of.
Yeah.
So we have our collaboration with the Institute of Cancer Research and the Royal Marsden Hospital. And on that site too, we have a school, the Harris Academy, and we're working with our developers, Aviva and Socius, to really develop that as an oncology and life sciences centre. And that means we want to attract people from all over the world to come and work here, to be a part of that, to bring their families and to be part of our community. But we also want, and this is the importance of the school on the site, to show the young people who are growing up in Sutton and going to our fabulous schools that there is somewhere where they can work and be a part of a really fabulous, world-beating institution. And so the housing that we're building is hopefully part of the economic development and the economic renewal of Sutton, in which we're putting a huge amount of effort at the moment. Because you can see we've got a long high street, but we're looking to bring businesses into that high street. It's thriving, it's bustling. We've got micro businesses in the borough. We've got a few big international businesses in the borough. And actually, the cancer centre, that sense of energy, that sense of positivity that it brings, ought to bring more businesses, more employment. In the past, before the pandemic, if you lived in Sutton, you went to work in central London if you wanted to earn a good wage. Our vision is you should be able to earn that great wage here. And it sits with the Mayor's vision, a more polycentric city, a city which has places where you can live and work close to each other, And it absolutely sits with the government's vision about economic regeneration, about renewal, about growth. So we're absolutely on message in our Sutton way with all of those outside bodies too.
Helen Bailey, thank you very much for your role in 1.5 million new homes.
Thank you very much, Toby. Pleasure to talk to you.
So that's it for another episode of 1.5 Million New Homes, the Local Government Challenge, sponsored by Redloft and by Lovell. We're going to be back in a couple of days with more from the London Borough of Sutton. So until then, if you like what you've seen, please click like and subscribe. It'll really help us if you do, and we'll look forward to seeing you again next time. Thank you.